Hey guys, welcome back to another GTA Online video. My name is Saintsfan, and today we're going over the Acid Lab, the new business. We're going to be discussing every single thing you need to know. Is it worth it? How much money does it pay out? Should you upgrade it? And much more. Now, wasting no time and hopping right in, the first thing I wanted to bring up, this is something that might end up happening. This picture right here is of the drip feed. The Brigade 6x6 apparently is going to end up on the Warstock Cash and Carry website for $1.4 million. At the moment, you can get it for free. I mean, I didn't pay for it. You just play through the 5 or 6 missions and it gives it to you for free. You don't get the Acid Lab for free, but the actual vehicle itself, you get it for free. So I don't know if Rockstar plans on not having that happen and you have to actually buy it, but I would definitely recommend just doing these missions. They don't take too long. Get the Brigade 6x6 in the free shop, and then you don't have to worry about it showing up on the Warstock Cash and Carry. Now, specifically the business, once you get the Brigade 6x6, you have to pay $750,000 to actually put the Acid Lab in the back of it. That is actually the cheapest passive business opportunity in the game. All the other ones are over $1 million. And you can additionally upgrade this after you complete 10 of the missions from calling Dax on the phone. Once you do 10 of those missions, then you can spend an extra $250,000 to upgrade the production speed as well as the value of the acid. So that's a total of $1 million for this new passive business. Again, the cheapest one yet. Now, side note about some of those Dax missions, you have to wait, I think it's 50 minutes between each one of them. There are 10 you have to complete, so you do kind of have to grind them out. I believe there's 6 different types of these Dax missions. They're not too terribly difficult. Honestly, the hardest one is the one with Merryweather. If you get this one, call in a tank. Call in something that has missiles and has armor. The Kanjali tank was perfect for this. You're not going to be able to do this in like an Oppressor Mark II or any flying vehicle because for whatever reason, the Merryweather depots and stuff they have around the map, they have anti-air, so you're not going to be able to easily get through them with an air vehicle. Definitely a tank is the way to go. But yeah, you have to do 10 of those to get the upgrade, and I would definitely recommend the upgrade because as we're going to find out, of course, you get paid more, and when it comes to these businesses, the more money we can make, the better. Now, once you do get 10 of those missions completed, you can see the upgrade here is 250K. What you could actually do, because it worked for me, if you already have like a full stock product in your lab, if you upgrade, it will actually bump up that number. So I think for mine, it was like 250,000 or something full before the upgrade. I upgraded it and it bumped it up to the 335,000. So you can let the stock accumulate while you are doing the 10 Dax missions if you wanted. Now, because Rockstar doesn't give us specific numbers on any of this stuff, we have to rely on people that can dig through the game files, and that's what we're taking a look at here before we get into some of the gameplay of it. So this is from Tez 2. These are all the numbers that this business has. This first one is just showcasing each base unit. You don't really need to worry about that. Right here, this next one is what we're actually going to be taking a look at as far as the full payout. So normally without the upgrade, if you're just doing it stock, a full product will only sell for $237,000. It's not going to be making you a lot of money. I'll just say that right now. The equipment upgrade, if you do spend the 250K, you do the 10 Dax missions, you will bump that number up to $335,000. That is what you're going to sell if you're doing this in an invite-only lobby. Now, this number does get increased if you are selling it in a public lobby due to the high demand bonus, which we'll touch on here in a second. But the base payouts, you can see, pretty low. I guess that's to be expected because the cost isn't that much. This is definitely a business for very, very new players. But some of the other numbers you can see, the Acid Lab will hold 160 units of the product. The production time, so this is how long it's going to take to actually fill up. 1 unit will take 2 minutes, 15 seconds. And if you do get the upgrade, you can see it reduces it to 1 minute and 30 seconds. So it cuts 45 seconds off. And once per IRL day, there is the acid production boost. If you go inside the back of the acid lab next to Mutt, you can increase the production speed by 2 times, which if it's not upgraded, reduces it to 1 minute and 8 seconds. And if it is upgraded, it is 45 seconds. So all of those numbers mean right here, the full stock, if you're just getting it to full, base, if you don't have any upgrades, takes 6 hours, which is quite a long time. If you boost it with the base, it's only 4 hours and 30 minutes. If you get the upgrade, which is again what everyone should do, it takes 4 hours normally, and boosted, it takes 3. So the numbers, it would take 3 hours, terrible handwriting here, to get a base payout of $335,000, which some quick math, I believe that's going to end up being like $110,000 per hour, which is not really the best. This is for sure a business that isn't bad to have, just to have additional income, but it's not something I don't think you're really going to be using just to make money. Again, I think it's a great one for new players because you can get most of this stuff for a pretty inexpensive cost. But if you do have a bunch of the other businesses, this is something that isn't going to be making you a whole bunch, especially if you are doing the heists and all those still. This is going to look like a significant downgrade as far as making money per hour. So that is pretty disappointing. Now, I'll just mention it because it is a thing. If you do have GTA Plus, it makes this like way better. And maybe that's why they made it so bad, because they want you to get GTA Plus. You get a 50% speed boost this month, which means that with everything fully upgraded, it'll only take an hour and 30 to get the $335,000. So that does make it way, way better, but you have to spend $6 a month to get that. Now let's take a look at some of the gameplay of actually selling the product here before we hop into the supplies. So I mentioned that the base price isn't actually what you will get, at least if you're doing this in a public lobby. You can get actually up to 500K. Here's a picture of someone selling in a pretty full lobby, a full product line, and it'll give you, what is that, $502,000. And that is with the high demand bonus. So what any business, I think this applies to, what'll happen if you're in a public lobby, for every one person, you'll get an additional 2%, all the way up to 20 people. So I think that'll be a total that you could max get is 40% added on to the base price. Now, I don't really think any of us like doing math when it comes to selling stuff in GTA Online. So the TLDR is the more people in your lobby, the more money you'll be making. Of course, that does come with the downsides. I tried doing one of these sell missions in a public lobby, and look what happened. Naturally, someone that literally has no time in their life decided to come stop me. Now, they are terrible. I killed them, and I immediately went to a solo public lobby so I could finish selling this without having to worry about the cops, the NPCs, as well as someone trying to kill me. But that is, of course, the risk you run if you do sell these in a public lobby. Now, as far as the sell missions, they're actually pretty fun. They're okay. The one really good benefit of this new mission, of these new missions, of this new business, it is very solo friendly. You only have one bike to get on that you can customize. So you actually end up driving pretty fast. I mean, you are pretty open to like people shooting you, which is, I guess, the downside, but it's not like other businesses where you have multiple vehicles. You've seen in the first mission, I just had to go around like the Blaine County area stashing the asset. I think there was like 5 I had to stash before I got paid. Here we have one, which is an interesting, it's an interesting mission. You are a paper delivery boy, but instead of delivering newspapers, you're delivering acid. That one's kind of cool, but it's also kind of annoying because you have to manually like throw the acid into these baskets, which sometimes just is a little wonky, but it's not too bad. Honestly, I didn't have too many NPCs coming after me in these missions either. I wonder maybe if you do these in an invite only lobby, if more NPCs will show up. But as far as selling them, I mean, as far as missions in businesses go, I would say these are probably some of the easiest to complete. So even though the payout isn't that great, the missions themselves are fairly easy to do. and they're fairly quick to do as well. And then just one final note on the payout, again, just to showcase it. So here was a picture of what it said I was going to sell for, only like 78,000. But because we did this in a 15-ish player lobby, but at the end of it, we end up getting about 120,000. So again, that just depends on how many people are in your lobby. Now, like every other business, you have to get supplies to make this run. You have two options. You can go out getting the supplies yourself and do missions that way, or you can just buy them. And taking a look at the numbers here, so each segment of supplies costs $12,000, which is why if you don't have any supplies, a full thing costs $60,000 because there's 5 segments. You can see when we have the upgrade, one piece of supplies will produce 1 unit of acid. So if you do end up purchasing the supplies, $60,000 worth of the supplies will produce $209,000 worth of the acid with the upgrade. Without the upgrade, it's only $74,000, which is why if you're doing this business, just get the upgrade because you don't want to do that. And right here, you can see what it takes for full stock. So what you're going to have to do if you're ending up buying the supplies, you're going to have to subtract this $96,000 amount from the total, and that's what you'll end up making, because to get a full amount, you're going to have to spend $60,000 as well as $36,000. So you're going to have to buy supplies twice to get the full amount, which again is like $335,000. And that minus basically 100,000 equals the base payout, which is roughly only, I cannot type or draw, 225,000. So yeah, not, again, the best as far as money goes. Now, I will say, speaking of these supply missions, if you decide to go through with them and not actually paying for the supplies, some are more annoying than others, but there are a few where if you bring the Acid Lab, the Brickade 6x6 with you, you don't actually have to drive that far. You can see in this one, the Merryweather people were surrounding a bit of supplies. We had to go get it. And because I decided to bring my mobile operations with me, once I delivered it right next to it, like that was it. So I didn't have to drive all the way back down into the city to deliver them. But then on the other hand, you'll have a mission like this one where you have to drive a tractor to the Liquor Ace to deliver the supplies, which isn't the most terrible thing because you're only going from Grapeseed to Sandy Shores, but you're in a tractor, it's pretty slow. So you can do the supply missions, but some of them are a little bit more annoying than others. And if you were wondering, I believe each supply mission will actually only give you 1 bar of the supplies. So if you want full supplies, you're gonna have to do 5 of the supply missions, which is why I think most people are just gonna end up buying the supplies anyway. And then the final thing we'll touch on is how the boost actually works, because you're gonna wanna constantly be boosting your product because that just makes this DLC, this business actually worthwhile. So again, you can only boost once per day, and it is 24 hours from the moment you start boosting. And it's once per IRL day, not once per in GTA Online. And apparently when you do choose to boost this, half of your stock will be produced at 2 times the rate, and the rest will be produced at a normal rate. So that's why it goes a little bit faster. So the boost is definitely worth it. So hopefully that did a better job of explaining the new business. I hate how Rockstar always put these businesses in the game. They don't really tell us how things work. We have to just find out for ourselves. I believe once boosted, even though the payout, the full payout is kind of low, I believe this is actually on par with a bunch of the other passive businesses in the game. I think I've seen some people say it's actually slightly better than the gun running when it is fully boosted. And the sell missions are much, much easier. And they're more solo friendly. So this isn't a terrible business. Yeah, hopefully you have a better idea of whether or not you want to get into this business. That's going to do it for the video. Thank you all for watching. There'll be more videos over the next couple of days on the newest DLC, the Drug Wars. I've also done a couple of videos already, so definitely go check those out if you haven't. But thank you all for watching. Please drop the video a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more GTA content. And as always, I'll see you all in the next one.